Hello everyone. Welcome back to Learning English Every Day. Today, we are not just learning grammar or vocabulary. We are learning a life skill that is more important than any exam. We are talking about a word that is only 2 letters long, but it is the hardest word to say in the English language. That word is no. Have you ever felt that your life is not yours? Have you ever felt that you are living for everyone else's schedule, everyone else's dreams, and everyone else's problems? If you have, then this story is for you. I want you to close your eyes. Imagine a person who always says yes. He is kind. He is helpful. He is disappearing. Let's meet Leo. My office is a small sanctuary. It sits on the 4th floor of an old brick building. Outside, the world is a storm of noise. The heavy trucks rumble on the asphalt. The sirens of ambulances wail in the distance. The wind whistles through the gaps in the window frame. It is a cold gray Tuesday in November. Inside, it is different. I have a small heater. It hums with a low, comforting sound. The air is thick with the scent of dried lavender and Earl Grey tea. Then, the door opens. Leo enters. He doesn't just walk in. He carries the entire outside world with him. I see it in his posture. His head is tilted forward, eyes fixed on the floor. His shoulders are hunched up toward his ears, as if he is protecting his neck from a blow. Leo, I say, please, sit. He moves toward the chair. His steps are heavy. The soles of his leather shoes drag slightly on the wooden floor. Scuff, scuff, scuff. He sits down, but he doesn't lean back. He sits on the very edge. I watch his hands. This is where the stress lives. He is wearing a silver ring on his right hand. He twists it, round and round, faster and faster. The skin around his knuckles is red from the friction. How are you, Leo? I ask. It is a simple question. But for Leo, it is a trap. I am fine, he says, but his voice is thin. It sounds like a dry leaf crushing underfoot. Suddenly, his pocket vibrates. Psst. He flinches. His whole body gives a small, sharp jerk. He reaches for his phone. His thumb hovers over the screen, trembling. He doesn't want to look, but he feels he must look. It's my colleague, Leo whispers. He bites his lower lip until it turns white. She wants me to check her design. Again. This is the 4th time today. And what will you say? I ask. I will say yes, of course, he says. He looks at me with wide, panicked eyes. I have to. If I don't, she will think I am lazy. She will think I don't care. I look at the sensory contrast in this moment. Inside the office, there is warm tea in a ceramic cup. The steam rises in slow, elegant curls. But Leo's world is cold, digital, and jagged. He starts to tap his foot. Tap, tap, tap. A fast, nervous rhythm against the floor. He picks up his phone and types. I can hear the tiny click, click, click of the virtual keyboard. Each click is a second of his life being given away. Leo, I observe. You are here, but you are not here. Your body is in this chair, but your mind is in 10 different places. He drops the phone onto his lap. He rubs his eyes with the palms of his hands, pressing hard. When he pulls his hands away, his face is even paler. I feel like a ghost, he says. I do everything for everyone. I fix their computers. I listen to their breakup stories. I finish their reports. But at night, when I lie in bed, I feel empty. I feel like there is nothing left of Leo. The silence in the room grows. I do not interrupt him. I want him to feel the weight. Leo looks around the room. His eyes dart from the bookshelf to the clock, then back to his phone. He is like a trapped animal looking for an exit. Yesterday was my birthday, he says suddenly. His voice is a low murmur. Happy birthday, Leo, I say. He laughs, but it is a sad, dry sound. I didn't celebrate. Do you know why? My cousin called me. He needed help moving his furniture. Then my boss emailed me a quick task that took 6 hours. Then my neighbor asked me to pick up his groceries. He starts to wring his hands together, as if he is trying to wash them without water. He leans forward, his chest heaving slightly. I spent my birthday carrying boxes and typing numbers, he says. A small muscle in his jaw twitches. He stares at the dust motes dancing in a beam of afternoon light. Did you tell them it was your birthday? I ask. No, he whispers. I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to be a burden. Suddenly, the phone on his lap lights up again. Another bzzz, then another bzzz, 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 bzzz. It is a group chat. The messages are flying in. Leo, can you? Leo, where is? Leo, please help. Something snaps. Leo stands up abruptly. The chair legs scrape harshly against the floor, a loud, screeching sound that cuts through the quiet. I can't, he screams. It isn't a loud scream, but it is full of agony. He grabs the edge of my desk. His fingernails dig into the wood. His breath comes in short, ragged gasps. I want to say no, he cries. He hits his forehead with the heel of his hand. 1, 2, 3 times. Why can't I just say the word? It's just 2 letters. N-O, no. He collapses back into the chair. He covers his face. I see a single tear slide between his fingers. It lingers on his wrist before falling onto his sleeve. The contrast is heartbreaking. The soft, golden light of the office versus the dark, heavy shadow on Leo's face. The peaceful silence I offer versus the screaming voices in his head. I am a good man, right? He asks, looking at me through wet eyes. Everyone says Leo is so good, but if being good feels like dying, I don't want to be good anymore. I wait until his breathing slows down. I walk over to the small table and pour him a cup of tea. The water splashes into the cup a clean, clear sound. I hand it to him. He takes the cup. His fingers are still shaking, making the tea ripple in tiny circles. The warmth of the cup meets his cold skin. Leo, I say, my voice calm and steady. You are not a good man. You are a safe man. He looks up, confused. What do you mean? You don't say yes because you are kind. I say, looking directly into his eyes. You say yes because you are afraid. You are afraid of conflict. You are afraid of being disliked. You are afraid of being alone. He stays very still. He doesn't blink. Leo, I continue, your yes is a lie. I can't. He flinches as if I hit him. A lie? Yes, I say. When you say yes, but your heart says no, you are lying to your friends. You are lying to your boss. Most importantly, you are lying to yourself. And a life built on lies will always feel heavy. I sit down across from him. This is the moment for the prescription. A yes with a resentful heart is not a gift, I say. It is a poison. Leo looks at the tea. He watches the steam vanish into the air. But how do I stop? He asks. If I say no, I will lose them. Leo, I say, and I repeat this slowly so he hears every word. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. I lean in closer. Think about it. If a friend only loves you because you fix their computer, do they really love you? Or do they just love the free repair service? He stays silent. He slowly lets go of the silver ring on his finger. His hands finally rest flat on his knees. Here is the truth, Leo, I say. Saying no is the highest form of respect. Respect? He asks. How is that respectful? It is respect for the truth, I explain. It is telling the other person, I value our relationship too much to lie to you. I cannot do this today, because if I do, I will be angry at you, and I don't want to be angry at you. I give him a simple image to hold. Imagine a glass of water. If you keep pouring water out for everyone else, soon the glass is empty. Then, when someone truly needs a drink, someone you truly love, you have nothing to give. You are giving them an empty glass. Leo takes a deep breath. He expands his chest. He lets the air out slowly through his nose. I have been giving everyone an empty glass, he whispers. Yes, I say. To have something to give, you must first keep something for yourself. To have something to give, you must first keep something for yourself. The cold gray light outside is fading into a deep, peaceful purple. The office is dark now, except for the small glow of the heater. Leo stands up. This time, he doesn't scuff his shoes. He stands tall. He reaches for his backpack and pulls the straps tight. Teacher, he says. His voice is a little stronger. A little clearer. What is the first step? I smile. The first step is not a word. It is a feeling. Go home. Tonight, when your phone buzzes, don't look at it. Just feel the silence. Feel the boundary. He nods. He walks to the door. He pauses with his hand on the brass handle. He looks back at me and gives a small, real smile. Good night, Leo, I say. Good night, he replies. As he leaves, the door clicks shut. The sound is final. It is the sound of a door closing on the old Leo. Leo has taken the first step. He has looked into the mirror and seen the truth. He realizes that his yes was a cage and no is the key. But the world will not let him go easily. Tomorrow, his phone will ring again. His boss will ask for more. His friends will push against his new fence. The week following our first conversation was a tempest. Growth is rarely a straight line. It is a messy, circular path through the woods. I sat in my office, watching the rain strike the glass. The water droplets raced each other down the pane, erratic, cold, and relentless. I wondered if Leo was holding his ground or if the yes man had returned to claim him. On Thursday, he appeared. He did not knock softly this time, but when he entered, he looked exhausted in an entirely new way. He walked to the chair, and dropped his leather bag, a heavy, hollow thud that vibrated through the floorboards. He did not sit. Instead, he paced the small Persian rug in front of my desk. His eyes were bloodshot, and he kept touching his throat, as if the words were stuck behind his teeth. "I tried, teacher," he said. He pulled his phone from his pocket with a jerky, violent motion. "Look at this." The screen was a digital battlefield. Dozens of missed calls, hundreds of red notification bubbles. The messages were sharp. "Leo, why aren't you answering? I need that file immediately. Are you angry at me?" "I said no to my cousin," Leo whispered. He gripped the back of the wooden chair so hard his knuckles turned white like polished marble. "He wanted me to drive him to the airport at 4 a.m. I told him I needed to sleep. He didn't say thank you for being honest. He said, 'You've changed. You're being selfish.'" Leo looked at me, his lip trembling. He reached out and touched the cold metal of a paperweight on my desk, feeling its sharp, unforgiving edges. "It felt like a physical wound in my chest, teacher." My heart was hammering against my ribs. Thump, thump, thump. I almost called him back to apologize. I almost said yes, just to stop the burning feeling of guilt. I watched him. He was vibrating with the tension between his old fear and his new truth. The chaos of the flashing digital screen versus the sturdy, unmoving wood of the chair. "The guilt is not a sign that you did something wrong," I said quietly. "The guilt is just the sound of your old cage breaking." Leo stopped pacing. He took a long, shaky breath that rattled in his chest. "I stayed in bed," he said. "I didn't pick up the phone." I laid there in the dark, listening to the rhythm of my own breathing. It was terrifying. I felt like the world was ending because I wasn't the one holding it up. "But did it end?" I asked. Leo looked out the window at the gray sky. "No." The sun rose, the birds sang, and my cousin found a taxi. He finally sat down, and for the first time, he let his back melt into the backrest of the chair. He let his arms hang limp at his sides. The struggle was visible, but the victory was beginning to show in the way he allowed himself to be heavy. 2 weeks passed, then 3. When Leo walked into my office today, I almost did not recognize the sound of his arrival. His footsteps were light, rhythmic, and deliberate. He did not scuff his shoes. He opened the door with a steady, relaxed hand. The transformation was in the details. His eyes were no longer darting around the room like a trapped bird. They were clear, like a mountain lake after a storm. The gray shadow under his skin had been replaced by a faint, healthy glow. "Tell me about your morning, Leo," I said. He smiled. It wasn't the forced, desperate smile of a people-pleaser. It was a slow, private smile. "I woke up at 7 a.m., he said. "Usually the first thing I do is grab my phone. I used to scroll through emails with blurry eyes, feeling my stomach tighten into a knot before I even sat up." He mimicked the motion of putting a phone down on the table, a slow, reverent gesture. "Today, I left the phone in the drawer. I went to the kitchen. I listened to the sound of the water boiling, the soft hiss, then the bubbling roar. I made toast. I watched the golden butter melt into the brown crust, disappearing into the heat. I tasted the salt. I tasted the grain. I sat there for 20 minutes, doing nothing but existing. I noticed the sensory contrast in his description. The shouting demands of the boss versus the gentle hiss of the kettle. The fast, bitter energy drinks versus the slow, warm toast. I realize something, Leo said. He leaned forward, and his voice was deep and resonant. I used to think I was busy because I was important, but I wasn't important. I was just loud. Now my silence is my strength. He told me about a meeting at work. His boss asked him to take on a project that belonged to someone else. I looked him in the eye, Leo said. I didn't look at the floor. I didn't fiddle with my ring. I said, I cannot take that on right now. My current projects require my full attention to maintain their quality. End quote. And what happened? I asked. He blinked. He looked surprised. Then he said, I understand. I'll ask Sarah. And that was it. No lightning, no fire, just a simple boundary. Leo reached for his tea. His hand was perfectly still. Not a single drop spilled. You look taller, Leo, I said. He laughed. I feel lighter. I used to carry everyone's expectations on my back like a mountain of stones. One by one, I am dropping them. I stood up and walked to my bookshelf. I pulled out a small, empty journal and handed it to him. The cover was made of rough, natural linen. It felt honest and grounded in the hand. Leo, I said, the world tells us that doing is everything. But the soul knows that being is the goal. You have discovered the greatest secret of the wise. I sat down and gave him the final lesson for this part of his journey. A no to the world is a yes to your soul. I understand now, Leo said. I used to think no was an ending, but no is actually a beginning. It is the beginning of a life that finally belongs to me. He looked at the empty journal. He ran his thumb over the blank pages. The sound was a soft, rhythmic frip, frip, frip. I am going to write my own story here, he said, and I won't ask for permission to use the ink. As the sun began to set, casting a warm amber glow over the office, I saw the final transformation. The man who was a ghost had become a man who was a mountain. Remember this, Leo, I said as he prepared to leave. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Your worth is measured by your peace. He nodded. He didn't need to say anything else. He tucked the journal under his arm, adjusted his coat, and walked out into the cool evening air. I watched him from the window. He didn't check his phone as he walked. He looked up at the trees. He looked at the sky. He was finally home, within himself. 20. Affirmations for a balanced life. I choose to protect my energy today. I can say no without giving a long explanation. My life matters more than my to-do list. I choose peace over people-pleasing. I can disappoint others to stay honest with myself. My life matters, even when I am doing absolutely nothing. I choose to be my own best friend and protector. I can set boundaries with love and kindness. My life matters, and my time is a sacred gift. I choose to listen to my body's need for deep rest. I can handle the temporary discomfort of someone's disapproval. My life matters, so I will not hurry through the beauty. I choose quality over quantity in my relationships. I can say, I'll think about it, instead of an immediate yes. My life matters, and I am allowed to have human limits. I choose to be authentic rather than just being liked. I can let go of the impossible need to fix everyone. My life matters, and my no is a powerful, holy tool. I choose to create wide spaces for silence in my day. I can start again whenever I feel overwhelmed by the world. Reflection questions. Think of one yes you said this week that made you feel heavy. What would have happened if you had said no? What is one small sensory detail you noticed today while you were not using your phone? Do you feel like a good person or a safe person? What is the difference in your heart? If your life was a garden, who is currently walking in and picking the flowers without asking? What is one specific no you are going to say tomorrow to protect your inner peace? Core keywords. Boundary. A limit that shows where you end and another person begins. Overloaded. Having too much work, responsibility, or emotion to handle. Authentic. Being true to your own personality, spirit, or character. Resentment. A feeling of anger because you have been forced to accept something you dislike. Sanctuary. A place of refuge or safety. A quiet, protected space. Productivity. The rate at which you do work, often confused with human worth. Hunched. Bending your body forward and down, usually due to stress. Deliberate. Doing something slowly and with careful, mindful thought. Vibrate. A quick motion, also used to describe the feeling of intense physical anxiety. Resonant. A sound or voice that is deep, clear, and carries great power. Thank you for watching Learning English Every Day. Remember, learning to say no is not about rejecting love. It is about making space for it. When you have clear boundaries, your yes finally has the power to change the world. I hope in this quiet moment you can hear your own voice. I wish you a night of deep sleep, free from the weight of guilt. See you in the next story. Take care of your soul.